Hiya, this is ArthurPno2. Thanks for giving me video a watch. If you've seen my channel before, you'll know that mainly I put up POV videos of Planet Coaster recreations that I've made. I thought this time I'd do something a bit different and show you how I made one of my recreations. So a couple of weeks ago I put up a recreation of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Thanks everyone who watched it, by the way, and everyone who put comments on and put a like on the video. Really appreciate it. So yeah, I thought I'd show you how I actually made the ride. Now, if you're familiar with Planet Coaster, you'll know that this first part is Planet Coaster 1. I made this part a couple of years ago when I did a recreation of Disney's Hollywood Studios, and I did a recreation of the Great Movie Ride, which is the ride that used to be there before Mickey and Minnie. And I thought I can't be bothered doing all that again, so when I moved on to Planet Coaster 2, I've just used the original footage from Planet Coaster 1 for this part. But from the part where they go through that door there, everything else was done on Planet Coaster 2. So don't worry, I'm not going to bore you with a long video showing you every piece going together piece by piece. I'll just bore you with the highlights. Enjoy. So here we are, many months ago, at the start of the project in an empty field. By the way, if you haven't seen me POV of the Runaway Railway yet, that I put up a couple of weeks ago, I'd probably recommend going and watching that first before you watch this, because if you watch this first, it'll probably just spoil it. So yeah, go and watch the POV that I put up, and then if you want to see how I made it, just come back and watch this. So this is the first pre-show room. You can see this is what I normally do with me recreations. I normally put all the pieces together that I think I'm going to need for each part, so I don't have to go searching through all the time for them. And then I get cracking. So this is the pre-show room, and then I built the station behind that. Okay, so I'm on the console version of Planet Coaster 2. I'm on PS5. It's times like this I get a little bit jealous of the PC owners who could have just put their own custom video or their own custom photos on walls like that and just make it look exactly like the ride. But I suppose at the end of the day, it's a bit more of a challenge having to do it this way, so I don't mind too much.
What could possibly go wrong?
So this was a tricky part of the ride to do, because in the real ride, Goofy's engine veers off in one direction, and then these carriages, the following carriages, veer off in another direction, and there's no way I could do that on Planet Coaster 2, so I had to try and think of a way that I could get around that. What I thought was, I have two rides, so I have a second ride for the second part of the POV, which would go through the wall and then carry on the ride going in the other direction. So when Mickey comes driving along this track, he knocks that signal over. So I had to think of a way to get that signal to fall over when he drove up to it. So I used a rotational moving platform on that one. the end of this track, the tunnel seems to go on for a long time, as being like gives the impression of being a long tunnel, but I'll show you here how I gave it perspective to make it look like a longer tunnel than it actually was. Now, I wanted the train part of the ride to have a decent looking track on it as well, but the mine train ride that I used for the actual ride itself, the track was no good because it just has like wheels on it, so to pull the car around. So all I've done is I've put a family train ride on the same track without a car on, and there you can see the wheels are underneath, just hidden. So that's two tracks, one on top of another, just to give me the effect I needed. So for the western scene, I had to use aquatic rock because it's the only rock in the game that you can change the colour of to make it look cartoonish. I had to just make sure I covered up all the seashells and the barnacles and stuff. And to give it more of a cartoon look, I had 2 layers of rock right next to each other, both completely different colours, but it just gives it that look of more of a cartoon type of rock, makes it stand out a bit more. So it was round about now when they brought out an update for the game where you could use video screens. So I thought I'd go back to the train and put a video on the back of the train. Now, I couldn't use Goofy, so the nearest I could get was Chief Beef with a hat on that looks like a train driver's hat. And now I'll show you all the hours of fun I had trying to get the moving platform to work with the opening and closing doors.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
There they are! Baby, right there!
So as you can see, I haven't worked out how to turn the weather off yet, although that looks quite authentic for Orlando there. So this was probably one of the most complicated scenes to recreate, although it wasn't the most complicated. That comes later on. And here's the final result. And that tornado in the background, by the way, I didn't make that. That's made by a creator called Tagi. If you get a chance, have a look at his YouTube channel. I'll put a link to his channel on the comments on this video. Some of the stuff he's got on there is genius. Really is amazing. So yeah, have a look at that. I had a good idea for this sewer section, to make it look like there was loads of water running down the track. And there it looks great. Trouble is, when the sunlight goes off it, or when it goes dark, all the water effects just disappear. That's what I don't like about this game. You can't get water effect in the dark. So it didn't work. Can't see it now. So to make the bloke with the drill, I've used the moving platforms again for his legs. The thing I like about the game now is the moving platforms don't actually have to be touching the pieces that are moving. As long as you attach them in game, the platforms can be anywhere. So they can be out of view. Excuse the mess there. They can be out of view, so they don't spoil your scene. So my moving platforms are hidden here, so there they are. So they're the moving platforms that are moving his legs, just out the way, so you don't have to see them. You've got to learn to improvise in this game as well. So for his hat, I've used 2 aquatic floor lights.
Everyone to your positions. Ready and
Excellent. You're all waltzing so beautifully together. Now, let's
So the only problem I've got left in this room now is there's no proper mirrors in the game, like in the real ride where you can see yourself in the mirror. So I was trying to think how to do it, and the only thing I can think of is use clear glass with 2 rooms. And the only thing I'll have to make sure I have to do is change everything in the second room so that it mirrors what's in the first room, because everything's on the wrong side at the minute. last thing I had to remember to do is on the animation of the cars is have the animation in one room going in a different direction to the animation in the other one, so there was a proper mirror effect as well. And now you're probably wondering why I've got two antique car rides outside. I'll show you. Makes a good street scene. And you're also probably wondering why I've decided to stick lampposts to the wall. Well, if you put them right and position them right so that the light just slightly pokes through the wall, it has a decent effect. I'll show you. Stars. So this was by far the most complex room to do in the whole recreation. Because I firstly had to make loads of machinery, and then I had to put it all onto triggers so that it disappeared into the ground for the scenery change. I was made up that I managed to find a screen as well that could change colour on a trigger as well, so that worked well. I ended up using 30 different screens just on this wall on its own, and they all change colour at the same time. It was just to give the effect of the wall, you know, the factory wall. There was 107 triggers in the end on this room when I finished. And on the finished POV, I think the scene lasts for about 3 seconds. So this aquatic pipe was used for the smasher. I attached it to a moving platform to give the effect. By the way, if you like the video and you're enjoying it and you haven't subscribed yet, if you could give us a subscribe, that would be really appreciated. And give the video a like as well, it does really help me out. And any comments that you want to put on as well, I always read the comments and reply to them. So if you see anything that I'm doing and you think it could have been done better, or there's an easier way of doing something, yeah, let me know. So at this point I had to find out a way of getting that doorway there to change colour and disappear. So what I ended up doing was put it on a slow moving platform, and the idea was to just get it to sort of sink into the wall. So there, I just disappeared into the wall. And then I had to have another door sat just behind it, which is the nice door, if you like, with the flowers on when the room changes. I'm just doing my little perspective trick here again. I needed some clouds in the background, so improvise with this. So there it is, hidden behind the original door. So when the trigger works, that sinks into the wall and leaves the other door. I wanted to have some little lamps coming out of the wall as well when it changed into a park, so I put some lamps on a moving platform. I just stuck them in the wall. There you go. And here's the final scene. You noticed I was lazy there. Half the room I didn't bother putting onto a trigger because on the POV the camera was only going to face one way anyway, so I was lazy there and only did half the room. And then I had to build a second room for when the car turns round. So there's the second room. And then the car turns round and meets up with the train from the start. That's the track for the train. So the train is back here. There's where the train comes through. There's where the train comes through. Goes backstage. And comes out there to meet up with the carriages ready for the final scene.
Well, that concludes my guided tour. Hope you had a relaxing ride around the park. And thanks for staying with me. Hey, picnickers! Told you nothing was gonna go wrong.
Nothing can stop us now. I'm so
So this is it, the last scene. So we've got Mickey and Minnie there having their picnic. You'll see on the final POV when I do it that I use a little moving platform to move Mickey's hand as if he's playing the guitar. And I was wondering how to make Minnie's skirt as well. So in the end, I used a picnic parasol. That looks painful. And then it was just a matter of finishing the room off. And then I came back and had my problem with the water again, so in the daylight I'd made this waterfall that looks really good. But then as soon as I changed to the night time, put the lights on, all the water effects disappeared again. And it looks rubbish. So then I tried to change the lighting, and then the lake looked radioactive. So in the end, I used some custom shapes, blue custom shapes, to make it look like water. And with the custom shapes behind the water effects, it did sort of make the effects stand out again. As it doesn't look that good in the daylight, but in the night time, which is where the ride's going to be set, it did the trick. There you go. And then it was just down to finishing the final station off, and then doing the final end room. And that was it. And that's it, the final ride complete. As I say, if you've liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and have a look on my channel. I've got loads of other recreations on there. I think I've done over about 50 now, so have a look at those as well. It looks rubbish from up there, doesn't it? And if you want to see some more of the recreation or have a little closer look at it, it is on the workshop. There's the share code and the details. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching till the end, or fast forward into the end, whichever. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.